Hello students, welcome you all. Today we are going to learn a very important topic from the chapter Complex Compounds, and that is naming complex compounds using the rules given by IUPAC. Okay, so you can put the side heading as IUPAC rules in naming complex compounds. Okay students, so we will learn all the rules first and then we will do examples following these rules. Okay, first try to learn all the rules one by one carefully. Number 1, like simple salts, positive part is named first and then the negative part is named. Okay students, like simple salts. So taking sodium chloride, taking potassium sulfate, taking calcium chloride. So like all these simple salts, wherever you observe, in whichever salt you see, we find that the positive part, that is cation, is named first, then followed by naming the negative part, that is anion. So same is the rule which we follow in naming complex compounds also. Okay, that's the first rule. Second rule, in naming a complex ion, ligands are named first. Okay students, in naming a complex ion, what are named first? Ligands are named first, then the central metal ion along with its oxidation number should be mentioned. Okay, in naming a complex ion, ligands should be named first, then central metal ion along with its oxidation number, and also the oxidation number should be written in Roman numericals. That too, it should be in parentheses, that means it should be shown in brackets. Okay students, that is the second rule. In naming a complex ion, ligands are named first, followed by the central metal ion showing its oxidation number in Roman numericals in parentheses, that is brackets. And also one more thing you should remember here, the name of the central metal ends with the term ATE in case of a negative complex ion. Okay, if there is a negative charge on the complex ion, then the name of the central metal, it ends with the term ATE. Coming to the third rule, in naming ligands. Okay students, so when we are naming the ligands in the complex, then alphabetical order should be followed. So we cannot follow as we like. There is some rule to be followed here, that is alphabetical order should be followed. And under this third rule, there are few more sub rules to be followed. Number 1, the name of negative ligand ends with the letter O. Okay, so there might be a negative ligand, there might be a neutral ligand, there might be a positive ligand. So when there is a negative ligand, its name should end with the letter O. So few examples I have quoted below, like chloro, bromo, iodo, etc. And all these are unidentate ligands. What is unidentate? That means it has only one donor atom. There are also bidentate ligands like glycinato, carbonato, etc. Okay students, so while naming a negative ligand, its name should end with the letter O. Next, second rule, neutral ligands. So if there are neutral ligands, they are named as such or with a different name. Okay, for example, NH3 amine H2O. If it is H2O, students, it is called as aquo in the olden days. Now the new name given is aqua, and CO is carbonyl, NO is nitrosyl, and so on, etc. Okay, these all are unidentate ligands. And also there are bidentate ligands which are neutral. For example, hydrazine, NH2NH2, ethylene diamine, NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2. Okay students, so understood, when there is a negative ligand, its name should end with letter O. If there is a neutral ligand, it is named as it is, or sometimes a different name is given. Okay, next. The name of the positive ligand ends with IUM. Okay, students, positive ligands. If there are positive ligands, the name of the positive ligands ends with IUM. For example, if it is NO plus, it is nitrosonium. If it is NO2 plus, nitronium. If it is NH2, NH3 plus, it is called as hydrazinium. Okay, students. First one is NO plus, nitrosonium. Second one, NO2 plus, nitronium. If it is NH2, NH3 plus, it is called as hydrazinium. So, in all these three examples, you can find at the end IUM is added. So, this is in the case of positive ligands. Okay. Next, coming to the fourth rule. What is fourth rule, students? The name of coordination sphere. What is coordination sphere? In the previous class we have learned coordination sphere means ligand plus central matter together is called as coordination sphere. And the name of this coordination sphere should be written in a single word. Okay, it should be together in a single word. That is the fourth rule to be followed. Next, coming to the fifth rule. If the same ligand is present more than once, that means if it is present twice, thrice or four times and more than four times, then it should be prefixed by the terms di, tri, tetra and so on respectively. Okay, students, if the same ligand is present more than once, it might be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times or more than that, then it should be prefixed by the terms di if it is 2 times, tri if it is 3 times, tetra if it is 4 times and so on respectively. And one more important point to be noticed, if the ligands already contain the terms di, tri or tetra, sometimes what happens, students, the name of the ligand, it already has di, tri or tetra. Then what should be done? When such ligands are present more than once, then their name should be prefixed by bis, tris, tetrakis and so on respectively instead of di, tri, tetra and so on respectively. And the name of that ligand should be written in parenthesis, that is brackets. Okay, students, understood? So once again, I am giving this rule number 5. If the same ligand is present twice, thrice, 4 times or more than that, then it should be prefixed using the terms di, tri, tetra and so on respectively. Okay. If the ligand is already containing, that means the name of the ligand already has the terms, for example, di, tri or tetra, etc., then we cannot use di, tri, tetra as prefixes. We should use the prefixes bis, tris, tetrakis and so on respectively instead of using di, tri, tetra and so on. And the name of the ligand should be written in parenthesis, that is brackets. Okay, students, this is rule number 5. Next, coming to the last rule, that is sixth rule. If the complex has 2 or more central metal atoms, then it is called as a polynuclear complex. And the ligands binding these 2 metal atoms are called as bridged ligands. What are they called as, students? They are called as bridged ligands. Okay. So when it is called as a polynuclear complex, when it has 2 or more central metal atoms, it is called as polynuclear complex, and the ligands binding the 2 central metal atoms are called as bridged ligands. These are separated from the rest of the complex using a hyphen and denoted using the prefix mu. And this mu is repeated before the name of each different kind of bridged ligand. Okay, students, this is the sixth rule that is to be followed while naming the complex compounds. Okay, so I have given an example over here. The example given here is bis-ethylene diamine cobalt 3 hyphen mu hyphen imido hyphen mu hyphen hydroxo bis-ethylene diamine cobalt 3 ion. Okay, students. So this is all about the rules to be followed given by IUPAC in naming coordination compounds or complex compounds. So once you learn these rules, then only we can name the complexes. So what you do, you carefully learn all these rules. Then in the next class, I will be teaching you naming the complexes following all these rules. Okay, students, am I clear? So please learn all these rules. Then we will be doing a few examples basing on these rules. Thank you.